Hello, my fellow concerned friends, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for showing up and watching today and supporting me every single time I post. It genuinely means the world to me. And if you're new here, hello, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. Out of all of these other videos you could have clicked on, you chose mine. I really appreciate that. I hope that you stick around and you get something beneficial from my content today. Being a parent, raising children is literally like the hardest thing that you can do if you're doing it the right way. And did you know this? About 35 to 49% of parents here in the United States still use corporal punishment as a form of discipline for their children, with 20% of parents here in the United States even still using corporal punishments for 17-year-olds and obviously younger. Is that not insane? And corporal punishment, if you don't know this, goes far beyond simply spanking. Corporal punishment is essentially using anything you can to harm the child in order to teach that child a lesson. Corporal punishment is point blank period. It is harming somebody physically, emotionally, etc., etc. It does not matter, because you want to teach them a lesson or punish them for behaviors that you deem unacceptable. You can't do that to your partner, because you know what's going to happen if you do. You can't correct a stranger on the street, right? Because you know what's going to happen. You know that it's wrong. It's just unfortunate that it is protected and illegal in this country. Get this. Corporal punishment is legal in every single state here in the United States to an extent, as well as legal in 19 states for educators to use corporal punishments on their students in school. Corporal punishment and it's protected. It is protected against children, the most marginalized group of people in our entire world. We have laws protecting the harm of children because people genuinely think hurt teaches people more than empathy and connection. And like I already said, corporal punishment does not just stop at spanking. It's already but sometimes it can start to border on or completely fall into the territory of straight up torturing your child. And like I said, it is legal in all 50 states to an extent. And I say to an extent because a lot of the times, the majority of the time, if that child does not have any physical injuries, visible injuries, they're not going to do anything about it. You're parenting your kid the best you can, especially whenever you have parents sitting here talking about their child as if their child are walking devils themselves. And today, we are looking at a prime example of this. And I just want to let you know now, it's really troubling to hear stories of what we're about to look at today. So I just want to let you know now that this is probably going to be a pretty triggering video. We're looking at parents who are using methods to potty train their toddlers. So if this is not a video that you want to watch, I totally understand. You can click out now. I will just say that I'm not saying anything graphic, nothing graphic and like super violent is being done, but we do need to understand that what I am talking about is serious, and what I am talking about is child torture, no matter how non-severe it may look to you.
I was just accused of my child. Let's talk about it. I responded with a cold shower every time they have an accident. Works like a charm. Because it does.
Isn't that just heartbreaking and disgusting, deplorable? What kind of mother are you? What kind of parent does this? As I already said, I am a mom. I had multiple kids back to back. Okay, I know how hard potty training is, how frustrating it is. There are going to be accidents and messes made. And also, kids are curious about what is coming out of their bodies. So sometimes there's even extra messes. That is an experience of learning how and when to listen to your body, to go to the toilet, to clean yourself up, to clean up a mess that you made, to understand that accidents happen. And while you're learning something, little child, you're not going to get it right all of the time. That's part of learning. And I'm here to help you make it to each next step to independence. This mother did not do that. She has taken this learning experience, because potty training, if you're a parent, you know this, is not a moment. It's not a couple times a day when we remember, oh, remember you need to go potty. It is a whole experience that takes sometimes just a couple days, for some families, a couple weeks. She has taken this experience for her child who is learning one of the most valuable skills you can learn, something you carry with you literally forever. She's taking this experience and punishing her child for not learning quickly enough, or not learning in the way that she feels her child should learn. Parents like this have kids and view their kids as objects, as puppets. They're inconvenient. Yeah, kids are inconvenient. It's probably one of the most inconvenient things an adult can experience in their lives, because we naturally want to be selfish. I want to be selfish. Sometimes I often think, if I didn't have kids, what would I be doing? I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I love my kids to death, but I would never want to paint this picture that parenthood is some easy, frilly, happy-go-lucky. It's not. It's not. And if you're not prepared to be the most ultimately inconvenienced for the rest of your life, because you don't stop being a parent when your child turns 18. If you're not prepared to be inconvenienced perpetually for the rest of your life, you should not be a parent. Period. End of story. You're putting your child in a freezing cold shower for messing up while learning. What a shock to that child's body. And let's not forget, not that it would make it any better, this is not some older kid who can maybe in a way process kind of what is happening more, in a way can prepare themselves more to just handle that shock and that coldness. We're talking about a baby child learning how to go to the toilet. That's hard. Think back. I don't even have to say imagine. Everyone just needs to pause and think back, because you were that child before. You don't know, whenever you've been in a diaper for your whole life, you're not just going to all of a sudden, when your parent says, hey, it's time for you to learn how to use the toilet, you're not automatically going to make that transition, even if your child themselves is coming to you saying, hey, I want to start going on the toilet. Which, in my opinion, if your child is walking around and able to walk to a toilet, then that's when you should start potty training. But every family is different. That is such a daily routine shock to go from being able to go anywhere at any time to now having to go to one specific place really quickly, because, again, they don't know their body. They're not able to say, oh, I'm going to have to go to the bathroom in a couple minutes. I should wrap up what I'm doing so I have time to go. They're in the middle of playing. They're not even realizing. And then all of a sudden they have to go, and you're going to throw them into a freezing cold shower because that inconveniences you. Now, unfortunately, I was never able to find the full-length video or even the original video, and I'm pretty sure she has deleted all of her accounts, so I cannot go see any updates on this. But it is true that she had people supporting her, and it is also true that she's not the only parent who does this. And this is not a new, let's call it what it is, method to teach your child, or try to teach your child how to do something that you feel like they should just know how to do all of a sudden, or they're not getting it in your time frame. I don't understand parents who think that kids are convenient. I have to ask, at what age do you think kids are just magically, automatically competent and can do everything and act like an adult? At what age does that happen? Because to me personally, I'm preparing for them to act like a kid around me forever. And that might be horrible or not. I don't know. But I want them to feel safe and know that they can come to me for anything. And if they make a mistake, I'm here to help them through that. But unfortunately, there are, and obviously always has been, parents who literally view their children as little robots that they need to program so that they operate the way I want them to, instead of viewing their children as brand new human beings who have the whole world available to them. And my job is just to sit back here, help them, be good people and figure out who I am and support them along the way, and send them off to go be prosperous in doing whatever it is that they want to do. And guess what? All of your kids are going to learn on different timelines, and it will never be your timeline. Just get that through your head. But while I was trying to find video or post examples to talk about how there are so many people who think that this is okay and the right thing to do, I stumbled across a blog post from 2008, a mommy blogger, back before, like, mommy YouTube vlogging was really a thing. There was blogging online, like type of blogging where momfluencers would post all kinds of pictures of their kids and give all kinds of crazy life updates. Wild that this has always been a problem, and sometimes I feel hopeless that it will ever end. But she shared this blog that I'm about to read to you about her experience with potty training. One of her, I think, like 8 kids, maybe 9, I don't know, a lot of kids. One of her children was having a really hard time going to the toilet, and she decided to take this same method. And I think the way that she talks about this is just it's just a perfect, glaring example of the kind of parents who do this exact thing. They are so self-centered, and they just clearly do not view their children as beings worthy of empathy and compassion and extra help. Thursday, December 4th, 2008, the unconventional potty training method. So when I said it was a unique potty training method, I meant it. About a week and a half ago, I got fed up with him pooping in his pull-ups and claiming he couldn't get his poop to come out while sitting on the toilet. So the chef's mom gave us an idea. She said to make him clean himself up after pooping. Well, I'm sure you can imagine how messy that would be, so the first time I made him do it, I commanded him into the shower. He doesn't like being distracted from playing, so the first couple of times, showers were dreaded. However, after a few accidents, he no longer cared that he had to get in the shower following a poopy diaper. He loved playing in the warm water, washing his little belly over and over again with his soap, running down our hot water supply, and running up our gas bill. So, of course, with my typical lack of patience, I quickly became fed up with that too. One day I said to him, "We're changing things up. If you poop in your pull-up, you will get washed with cold water in the shower." I don't think he believed me because sure enough, later on that same day, my nose discovered him wandering around with his little present in his pull-ups. In the spirit of don't threaten anything unless you're willing to follow through on it, I walked him straight to the shower and asked that he remove his clothes and poopy diaper. He refused. I counted to 5. He still refused. Out came a quick burst of water. He screamed. I closed the bathroom window and started counting to 5 again. He still refused. Second burst of water found him hastily stripping down to his skivvies. Poop went in the toilet, and we wrapped up the episode by spraying down his tuchus amid screams of indignation. Now don't judge. It sounds worse than it was. I actually didn't have the water on cold. Room temperature works perfectly fine. And I didn't make him linger in the shower. I just kept the stream of water on him until all the poop had disappeared. After 2 or 3 cold showers, he successfully pooped on the toilet and hasn't looked back since. I don't believe that the water was room temperature, and even if it was, that is still a shock to a child's body. That is still a complete shock to a child's body because let's be honest, whether the water is room temperature, even a little bit above room temperature, it still feels cold to us. Right? That's why getting into pools, even if they've been out in the sun all day long, still feels refreshing because our bodies are hotter than water, typically, unless that water is like hot, like for a shower or a bath. And did you guys notice what I'm talking about with the complete selfishness? This is all about me. This has nothing to do with teaching my child how to use the toilet. It has everything to do with me. I'm inconvenienced. I don't want to clean up your mess. I don't want to have to interrupt what I'm doing. And I find it so strange that she's sitting here talking about how he doesn't want to be interrupted in playing and blah, blah, blah. That's how this is also part of the punishment. Well, you don't like to be interrupted, clearly. You literally don't even like your kids. You don't like being a mom. It's inconvenient. You like being a mom because now you can take all of these pictures and post all of this very intimate, private information about your child online for anybody to see because you like the praise. You got this big family and you're raising all these kids and you feel good about yourself being able to talk about how you overpowered your child and you won, and also getting praise from other parents online saying things like, yeah, we did this too. That's awesome. You're a great mom. Or, wow, I didn't even think about this. I'm going to try it. You feel on top of the world as far as parenting goes. But I am wondering if those kids even talk to you today. Not to mention the random quotation marks around everything, accident, his soap, like what's the point? Yeah, when a child goes to the bathroom in their pants, that's an accident. I don't think, and I know that there are different cases, like everything's nuanced, but in general, kids don't want to have an accident in their pants. Like, that's not something like a kid wants to do naturally on their own. Like, your job as a parent is to help your child figure out how and when to use the toilet. So yes, until they can do that, they are having accidents. Believe it or not, kids don't like walking around feeling mushy and sticky and smelling bad. They don't like that. They just depend on you to help them not have to be in that state. And you're mad about the fact that you have to do that after you had multiple kids. That's crazy. Also, just take the pull-up off. Just take the pull-up off. Like, literally, it is so easy to potty train. Generally speaking, again, I know that there are different cases with different families, but general rule of thumb, potty training advice is like the 3-day method. You just let them walk around with no diaper, no pants, 3 days, and clean up the mess, have them clean up the mess. There will be accidents. They will have to clean up their accidents. There's more incentive to go to the toilet because they don't want to clean up their own accident. And it doesn't have to be an angry moment. It's simply, that happened. When we make a mess, we clean it up. Dude, I'm here to help, but like, you got to clean that up. They say using that method, kids will potty train in like 3 days. I've had multiple kids and I've used that method with all of them at varying rates of, 3 days, a couple weeks, whatever, because every single child is different. But especially you, like with you having so freaking many kids, wouldn't you know, if you don't want your kid to be using diapers, you don't put your kid in diapers, dude. Put them in some pants. Let them walk around with nothing on. If you don't want your kid in diapers, don't put them in diapers. There will be accidents. There will be messes. And you will have to have them clean them up and or assist them in cleaning up. And it is going to be frustrating. It's not fun. Why are we acting like it's fun? Don't have them in a diaper if you don't want them to use a diaper, dude. Also, where's the incentive? How about a freaking M&M every single time you go to the toilet? And 2, if you do a number 2, like there's so many different things that you can do to positively reinforce bathroom time that will actually make a child want to use the bathroom, that make a child realize, oh, I can have this independence and this independence is a good thing. It means I'm growing up, dude. I don't even need my mom for this. That is what you should be instilling in your kids. Not, I'm scared of mom because if I don't make it to the toilet, I'm going to be shocked with cold water. Disciplining your child while trying to get them to learn a new skill does not make your child want to learn that new skill or keep continuing that new skill. It's actually going to make your child want to be as distant from it as possible, because even if it brings good, once they learn that new skill, they're scared of you. They're avoiding it because they're going to try to avoid you. They don't want to put themselves in a situation where they may be. And let's going beyond like how it's just wrong and messed up and abusive to even do that in the first place. Let's talk about what that actually does to a child's body, especially a small child like that, dude. Not only mentally can they not mentally prepare themselves, they can be scared. Like we read in that blog where he was screaming and refusing. He can be scared. They can be scared, but they cannot mentally prepare themselves. And whenever you take a child and just throw them in coldness, or even something that is perceived by the body to be cold, it is shocking. It's shocking to their nervous system, to their heart. Depending on how long you have them in there, they can lose body heat really, really fast. All for what? Because like she said in her blog, he didn't stop after the first time. It took a couple times. It took a few times. I wonder if she could have avoided that altogether by not putting a diaper on her child that she didn't want to be in a diaper anymore. Parents use punishments like this because they think that it's better than spanking. Well, at least I'm not spanking my child. Like, I would never hit my child, but this is still the same. It's still traumatizing. It still creates distance between the child and the caregiver because you're creating fear around messing up with your child. You're teaching your child that when you make a mistake, I am going to hurt you. I'm going to hurt you if you make a mistake and you can't fix it fast enough. And thinking about my mom and the punishments that I had, I was spanked growing up, but it stopped when I was pretty young. I can't really remember exactly why they stopped. I know it had something to do with other people noticing like visible bruises on one of my brothers. So they stopped doing that, but they got really creative Very, very creative. I can't remember ever being put in a cold shower, but I can remember being made to do various stress positions, which are quite literally like military torture methods. Like, this is what these parents aren't understanding. When people think of a lot of times we're thinking about like what we see in movies, like the extreme cases where like body parts are being taken off of somebody while they're alive, or like their skin, blah, 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 whatever that, you know what I'm saying? It's not always that though. It's not always that. If you're intentionally putting stress on a child's body to get information, to punish, you're them. I was put in stress positions. I was made to wall sit for long periods of times. And if I didn't successfully do that, there was other forms of punishment that I would get. And I'm just talking about my mom specifically here. My stepdad was a lot more physical, but we're not talking about him. We're talking about my mother. Okay. So another thing I had to do was like solitary confinement. She would take all of my things out of my room, and I was made to sit in my doorway without talking to or looking at anybody. I was not allowed to drink, eat, go to the bathroom, take a shower, brush my teeth. I was not allowed to do anything unless they specifically said I could. So if I had to go to the bathroom, tough luck, dude. I wasn't allowed to go to sleep until they said I could. So sometimes I would fall asleep sitting up, and then I would get in even more trouble for that. Some other things that she would do is putting Dawn dish soap in my mouth if I mouthed off, or if I lied, or if she just deemed me disrespectful, whatever it might be. And you don't realize that this is damaging your kids. And I could keep going. I could keep going on and on and on. It is not only emotionally and mentally damaging your child and your relationship with your child, the trust that your child has in you. It is putting actual stress on their body. It can cause actual long-term harm on that child's body and their overall health. Like with me eating soap, I could have had digestive issues, like stomach problems. And, I have, some issues internally, but maybe it has to do with that. I don't know. But there are people who do have really bad issues from punishments like this. Sometimes parents will make their kid like eat hot sauce for various reasons. Or another one my mom did was like making me hold out like gallons of milks or books straight out. And it hurts. It hurts the shoulders. Doing stress positions, I've seen some people say that their parents would make them kneel on rice. This can cause joint damage. Stress positions in general can cause joint damage. And if these things are used to get information or hurt adults, what is it doing to your child? What are you accomplishing in your parenting by raising your child to think, when I mess up or I make my parents angry, I deserve to be hurt. I deserve to be hurting. I deserve punishment. And then we see so many adults getting into relationships that they should not be in because that's what they have learned to accept. Or we see adults not taking care of themselves when they've done something wrong. I'm definitely one of those. If I feel like I've done something wrong, if I've like hurt somebody's feelings, or if I just feel like I have done something wrong, even if I know what it is and I correct it, it doesn't matter. I punish myself, and I've been trying to get better, but like I will lock myself in my room because I don't deserve to even be seen. Like I'm so scummy. I'm not worth anything. This is what your kids are going to grow up thinking about themselves. That is what you're teaching your child. And as a parent, you disgust me. If you're a parent like that, you disgust me. If you're a parent who uses fear, anything physical, if you're a parent who doesn't let your kid question your authority, I'm right and you're wrong because I'm the adult and you're the kid, or just because I said so parent, like I don't respect you, and I'm not surprised your kids don't either. And I'm not saying all this as if I'm a perfect parent. I could write you a laundry list of all of the mistakes that I have made and I make daily. Absolutely. But one thing I can say is I have never not apologized to my kids. I have never not taken accountability, and I have never not tried to change any of the behavior I know was wrong, or any of the behavior that they have come to me and been like, dude, you did this and it hurt my feelings, or you did this and I don't think that it was fair, or you have this rule and I was wondering if we can change it. That door is always open. My kids are not scared of me because I've never given them an opportunity to be scared of me. That's all you're giving your child is fear. Why are you not sitting down and connecting with your child, talking through with your child, or is something as simple as potty training? You set an alarm every 20 minutes. Why are you like letting your kid just walk around long enough to soil its diaper that you don't even want it to be in the first place? That goes for the blog lady. That goes for the lady at the very beginning of this video who was so scared and cowardly because she can't defend her of her child. That goes for anybody who uses corporal punishment, period, on their children. You're lazy. You don't want to connect with your child. You want to get over with all of the hard parts so that you can enjoy the fun parts of childhood. I don't understand you at all. Be present, be a parent, and be a compassionate, loving parent. Gentle parenting is not letting your kids do whatever they want to do. Gentle parenting is setting very firm boundaries, which include boundaries for you as the parent. Like I tell my kids all the time, if you feel so mad that you're about to hit somebody or you feel like you want to hit somebody, you walk away and you come either find me or your dad, or if you're not with us, you go find a safe adult, someone you trust, and you tell them, I want to hit someone right now. And they can help you with the tools you need to calm down. We can help you take a deep breath. What we do is we smell the flowers, blow out the candles. Thank you, Miss Rachel, for that one. And it's the same boundaries for me and their dad. If I feel so mad that I might yell just out of anger, not out of like a serious situation where it's like they need to hear me, just like out of anger because like I am just beyond my limit, I am so overstimulated, I walk away. And because I have set that standard with my kids too, they know that it's not personal. It has everything to do with me and my emotions, not anything to do with you. My emotions are not your responsibility. I like to kind of think like gentle parenting is kind of like being very, very firm, but with a lot of compassion, smiles, hugs, and empathy. You don't have to let your kid just walk around being crazy and blah, blah, blah. And the only thing you can do is corporal punishment or yell, make my kid drink hot sauce because they offended me and disrespected me. You get disrespected every single day online, dude. You get disrespected everywhere all the time. Why is it only your child you're allowed to take out that anger on? Because it's legally protected. That is not the only way to parent. Your family is not special. You're just emotionally immature and clearly hard-headed to the point that you don't see a problem even if your child is crying and screaming and you don't want to get professional help to figure out what can I do better. I want to be humble enough to look at my situation and admit I'm not doing something right, okay? I need help. I need to get better. These parents are not willing to do that at all. And it breaks my heart so much for these kids. And I know so many of us can relate. And it's so hard to be like the adult version of what these kids are going through and to be able to say like, no, like this is actually like really damaging. Like you are hurting your kid by making your kid scared of you in order to do what's right. And long term, this is really going to not only affect your guys' relationship, but your child in general. And these parents don't listen. They don't care. They don't listen, either because they think that they're right and everybody else is just soft, or it's well, I was raised this way and I turned out fine. So what does it matter? You did not turn out fine at all if you think any form of harming somebody as discipline or a lesson is okay. You did not turn out fine. You deserve to talk to somebody about that and for somebody to validate to you that you did not deserve that as a child. You did not deserve, if you were raised with anything but gentle, kind, apologetic, leading parents, you deserve to be validated that you didn't deserve anything that may have happened. But that is all I have for you guys today. I know this was absolutely just disgusting and tragic and devastating to know that there are so many parents right now who loudly and proudly use any form of corporal punishment, a lot of times multiple different forms of corporal punishment to raise their kids, and they are legally protected. They're legally protected, as long as there's no visible injuries and the kid, it looks, healthy, happy, healthy, and fed, and they have a roof over their head, and your house is clean, and you look like a nice family on the outside. I mean, that's just the way you raise your kids, and they refuse to hear anybody's testimonies that tell them any differently about how it hurts them and how it affects things long term in those children's lives, as well as their relationship with their parents. So if you're a parent who does use corporal punishment, I really hope that this video could change your mind. And I really, really implore you to watch a lot of my other videos. We go over all the time on this channel parenting techniques and all the ways parents do it wrong, but I always do try to add in my own, 2 cents at how I do it, or, my experience of being raised like parents like that, because I want people to see that you don't have to do it perfectly 100% of the time, but you damn well should be trying. And if something's not working, or you can see that you're hurting your kid, even if it's just their feelings, you need to look for another option, and you need to know that there are other options. And I also want you to know that going and getting professional help with your child is not making you a failure of a parent. Please understand that. You are not a failure of a parent if you can't handle it on your own. We were never meant to do this alone. And unfortunately, so many of us are doing this completely alone. It's just me and my husband. It is just me and my husband raising these kids. There is an occasion, maybe like once a year, where my kids will be with his parents. That's it. That's all we have. It is so incredibly hard, and you are not expected to know what to do in every single situation, because as parents, we can't expect every single situation. So it is okay. I need you to know it is okay to go talk to somebody, get in family therapy, and figure out, hey, where am I going wrong? What could I do better? And sometimes it may not even be you. I mean, yeah, if like you're hurting your kid and stuff in response to what they're doing, that is a problem. But you could be finding that you're getting to the point of such frustration because you may be overlooking some things that maybe your child needs extra help with. Maybe your child has some behavioral issues that could be remedied with therapies, and it may have nothing to do with you. Again, up until the point you start harming them. And if you were that child, just know that you did not deserve that. You did not deserve that. You deserved a parent that compassionately and patiently led you through every single learning moment in your life. But for real, that's all I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. And as always, I will see you guys on the next one.